Academic Counseling Academy, and welcome to another exciting video. Today we will be discussing the topic course of study considerations for working class secondary school graduates. If this is your first time on this channel is focused on providing academic counseling information to prospective tertiary students, whether you are in Nigeria or not. You can watch my welcome video for more details. I want to encourage you to please watch this video to the end, as you will gain the full body of knowledge only when you have watched this video to the end. Let's dive into the video. The first consideration is budget. As a working class secondary school graduate in Nigeria contemplating tertiary education, you need to consider whether your course of study will be studied at a federal government of Nigeria owned tertiary institution, state-owned tertiary institution, or at a private owned tertiary institution. This consideration is important because your budget will determine 1. Choice of course of study, and 2. Choice of tertiary institution. Regarding choice of course to study, available budget contributes to whether you will be able to study more expensive programs such as medical programs, engineering programs, or technology programs, or less expensive programs such as some arts programs. Regarding choice of tertiary institution, budget considerations will determine whether you will study at a federal government of Nigeria owned tertiary institution, which is more affordable than a state-owned tertiary institution, which in turn is more affordable than a private-owned tertiary institution in Nigeria. Hence, adequate research is required to determine the tuition and related fees for intended course of study at any desired tertiary institution to ensure that adequate budget is available to complete the course of study successfully. Where budget is a concern, course of study should be considered at a federal government of Nigeria owned tertiary institution at the first instance before state-owned tertiary institutions. Also, where budget is a concern, less expensive course of study should be considered, assuming all other considerations have been accounted for to ensure successful completion of the course of study. If you have difficulty finding a course of study that matches your budget, do book a coaching session to get the required assistance. Are you enjoying this video? Do well to like, comment, and subscribe to support this channel, and set the enable notification button on so you don't miss any of our valuable videos. Hoping you have done that, let's move to the second consideration. The second consideration is study time availability. An important question to ask yourself as a working class secondary school graduate is, will my job allow me to study full time, such as availability of study leave for further studies, or part-time? The importance of the answer to this question is that where your job has provisions for study leave, then that would allow you to choose a course of study offered as a full-time program. Full-time course of study means you can be scheduled to take classes at any time by the tertiary institution offering the program. However, where you can only study part-time, then you can only select a course of study that is offered in the evenings, weekends, online, or through distance learning. There are many tertiary institutions that are approved by the federal government of Nigeria to offer degree programs part-time, evenings, weekends, online, or distance learning. If you have any difficulty finding a course of study that matches your study time availability, or are not sure whether an institution is approved or licensed to offer part-time programs, do book a coaching session to get the required assistance. The third consideration is national youth service considerations. The government agency responsible for youth service mobilization is the National Youth Service Corps, commonly called NYSC in Nigeria. The federal government of Nigeria makes it mandatory for all graduates of eligible programs of tertiary education to serve the nation for 1 year, subject to some conditions such as being below or not older than 30 years of age upon graduation. Upon completion of the NYSC program, you are given an NYSC discharge certificate. Where you were older than 30 years of age at graduation and you completed an NYSC eligible course of study, you will not be mobilized for the NYSC mandatory national service. In that case, you can apply for and be given an exemption certificate instead of an NYSC discharge certificate. Where you completed an ineligible course of study, you will be awarded an exclusion certificate instead of an NYSC discharge certificate or exemption certificate. In theory, all three certificates, NYSC discharge certificate, exemption certificate, and exclusion certificate, are considered equivalent. However, some employers appear to have preferences, such as not accepting exclusion certificates as much as NYSC discharge certificate and exemption certificate are accepted. As a working class secondary school graduate contemplating tertiary education, you must choose an NYSC eligible course of study and budget your time to either complete the mandatory NYSC program or get an exemption certificate. This is important should you decide to change jobs or present it to your current employer to ensure that you do not get an unacceptable response. Are you enjoying the video? Do well to like, comment, and subscribe to support this channel, and set the notification button on so you don't miss any of our videos. The fourth and final consideration is disability considerations. If you are a working class secondary school graduate, or even where you are not, disability considerations are important to successfully completing tertiary education in Nigeria. Although some handful of tertiary institutions have made some progress in making tertiary education accessible to disabled tertiary students, most Nigerian tertiary institutions still have significant challenges to accommodate disabled tertiary students, both in their physical infrastructure and educational content formats. Therefore, if you are a disabled working class secondary school graduate contemplating tertiary education, you may consider online or distance learning course of study from approved and licensed tertiary institutions in Nigeria or abroad that can provide you the support that you need. So there you have the 4 considerations that working class secondary school graduate should consider before selecting a course of study. On a final note, this video is providing general information that does not account for your specific circumstances or situation. Do book for a personalized coaching session where all the factors regarding your personal situation can be accounted for, or consult your educational counselor before choosing your course of study in Nigeria tertiary educational institutions. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to support this channel if you have not already done so, and set the enable notification button on to ensure you don't miss any of our future valuable videos. Thank you for watching this video to the end. Hope you have gained the point of this video. Stay safe and stay blessed. See you in my next video. Goodbye.